Hello, my name is Eduardo Jardim, and I'm going to talk about how interpersonal communication can affect your lives and your relationships. The relationship I'm going to talk about today is the relationship I have with my sister and the conflicts that we have. You might be wondering why you should listen to me. It is true that I'm not an expert in the area, but I've taken a course about interpersonal communication and I've done a lot of research about the topic. Many people would think that this topic does not concern them, and that's not true, because as Jim Hairston said, conflicts are not, like many people think, a sign of poor management. Conflicts can even help improve relationships, and because everybody has conflicts, it is good to know how to solve them, and that is why this topic concerns you. I'm going to talk about the conflicts that I have with my sister now that I'm living in the United States and she's living in Brazil, and what I can do to solve these conflicts. So the class outcomes are to learn how interpersonal communication can affect your relationships, how listening barrier affect your communication and your relationships, and to learn how to solve conflicts using interpersonal communication skills. So first I talked about how it is important to know about interpersonal communication skills when it comes to solving conflicts. Now I'm going to talk about how I use those skills to solve the conflicts that I had with my sister. My sister and I are really close and we usually do not have conflicts. And now that I'm living in the United States and she's living in Brazil, I feel like we're even closer. Hillary Scouts also agrees that technology does a very good job at bringing people together, but it's really hard to communicate when we can only talk via Skype. One problem that we are having is that I usually get distracted when talking with her because I'm multitasking, maybe because I'm talking with someone else or doing something else. And as Caroline points out, multitasking can be a barrier in listening because you get distracted and do not pay much attention to the conversation. Another problem that we are having is that because it is really hard to communicate via Skype, I feel like the conversation is really boring and we do not have a lot to talk about, so it does not last more than 10 minutes. And she feels like I do not want to talk with her, and that's not true. Now that I've talked about the conflicts that I have with my sister, I'm going to show you what I can do to solve these conflicts. The first thing I wanted to work on was the fact that I get distracted while talking with her. And the solution that I came up with was to mute all my group chat and messages so I could only talk with her and pay attention to her. This way I would not get distracted by anything else. The second thing I wanted to work on was to keep the conversation alive so it would last more than 10 minutes and she would stop thinking that I did not want to talk with her. And the method I came up with was to keep asking her questions and providing feedback. This way she would feel like I want to talk with her. Another thing that I planned to do was to talk more about myself so she would feel more comfortable in the conversation. Now that I know what to do to solve my conflicts with my sister, all I got to do is to keep track about which methods were successful and keep using them in my relationship with her. After using the method of muting all the group chats and messages, I felt like our conversation was much better because I did not get distracted by anything else. And I could only pay attention to her, and that's really good. After using the method of keeping asking her questions and providing feedback, I felt like our conversations lasted much longer and were really more successful. The last thing I planned to do was to disclose more about myself, and it worked out really well because she felt more comfortable with the conversation and even disclosed more about herself. My conclusion is that first, I found out the conflicts that I had with my sister, then I came up with methods to solve these conflicts. And now that I know which ones work, I can keep using methods to make sure that I do not have these conflicts again. After everything I've said, I hope that everybody can understand how much it is important to have knowledge about interpersonal communication and how it can affect your life. Thank you.